have a dream I want to share, and then there's like a snippet part, like a small part of a different one. I don't know if it's all right to share too, or does that make sense?
Well, start out with the dream you want to share, and let's see where that takes us.
Okay. Okay, so for the dream that I want to share, is it okay if I like flicker back and forth briefly? I don't know if y'all can still hear me.
Yeah.
Just to look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me know. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, can you still see me?
No, we see a frozen picture.
Good.
We see your frozen face.
Okay. So apparently I was at this super big opulent hotel with my family, like all the members of my family, except for my sister. My sister actually is no longer living. So she wasn't there, but the rest of my family was there. And my husband was there, and it was really pretty. It looked like a super huge cruise ship. And when two of my sisters, so I was walking with my husband and two of my sisters, Adriana and Antonia, and the Antonia and Adriana ran off in a different direction to go change clothes. And so I like took off after them. And when I did that, like they changed clothes, but my clothes automatically changed into the kind of clothes they were wearing. So basically, so it was changing automatically, and I felt really pretty about it. I always wanted to wear like a Caribbean outfit, although I think it's really revealing. As you can see, I'm very clothed. Okay, very clothed. But it was very revealing, and I loved it. I felt really beautiful, and then we were like running down all these flights of stairs. It was like the Titanic, like as it was just so big and so opulent and so beautiful. And as we're running down all these stairs, we're so excited for everyone to see us and everything else, and in our finery, because instead of the feathers though, it was more like a lingerie nightgown sort of thing. So like almost like a cape that you can put your arms through. You know, like you see women wearing this like little boa around. They're like, it's like a jacket, except it has like feathers or a boa around like the wrists and around like this part. It's like, ooh, look at me. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna keep going. And if you need me to pause, just let me know. So sorry, I'm like literally just coming off of work, very literally. So I'm just so as we're all running down the steps, we finally make it to, it's not the bottom because there's so many levels, but it's just like, it's like a landing place. And then I'm sitting, I get into the room with the rest of my sisters, and they're all like milling about excited. Everyone who's around us is excited to see us. My dad, he's looking like away from me, and I'm like, Daddy, it's me. And he's like, oh, it's you, my daughter. Okay, cool. I thought you were a woman. I'm like, thanks, Daddy. No, you can look at me. It's appropriate. You can't think ill thoughts about me, I don't think. Whatever. Yeah, and so that happened. But he was very happy once he realized I was daughter. He's like, because he didn't have daughter's eyes or something. And then I was sitting next to my husband. I was super excited. And I was like, oh. And he was like playing on his phone, like some kind of game or something. And a nice white lady came up to me, was blonde. And she was like, hey, you look awesome. I'm like, thank you, random white lady. I'm not, okay. And I was like, well, thank you. And then she was like, you're welcome. Like, you can kind of creep me out because you're still like right here next to my face. But she eventually went away. But like just different people kept coming up to me and telling me how beautiful I was. And I was like, thank you, random people. And then I was like looking at my husband, and he was like, oh, you look so pretty. I'm like, thanks. And then he stopped and continued playing the game. And then I waited and I waited and I waited some more. And then I jumped up and I said, that's it. I've had it. I was like, I look gorgeous. All these people are telling me this. And then he jumped up and he said that he had it. And I'm like, and his jump up startled me. Like it meant business or something, even though I had jumped up first. And then he marched off like really fast, and then I was trying to catch him, so I was like holding the trains of my kind of lingerie half carnival outfit, except instead of going directly after him, I was going up all these different levels, just up and up and up, trying to catch up to him. And I was trying to beat him to the hotel suite room. And for some reason there was like a hallway, and a nice white lady came out of it. I was like, oh, nice white lady. And I hope this isn't rude to anyone. So, and then I went in, because she had opened the door and it was like a bathroom for like one person. And I went in and I looked at myself and I was like, aren't I beautiful? And when I looked at myself, though, I was like completely flat chested, and my belly button was a lot bigger than, like, it was very pronounced inner belly button. And this is fun for me. And I was just, I remember just looking at my body saying, this body doesn't even look like mine, like, at all. It looks more flat chested and athletic, and that's not how my body looks. And I remember coming out of the bathroom, and she came in. I was like, I'm sorry, I took over your bathroom moment. And then I remember trying to go after my husband. I didn't know where he was at that point. And I was walking down one of the opulent hallways, and I think I was trying to figure out whether or not to change out of the clothes I was wearing. Because I was like, I don't know if it matters anymore. And then my family was like, it's almost like a moving, like the hotel was so huge, it was like a moving ship that they could sit on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like, as I'm walking, they're like right beside me, like my hand is right here. They're all in that like basket or whatever. And they're like, come join us, Alexis. And I'm like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to join you or not. I'm trying to find my husband. And I just remember being sad. And that's it.
Okay, cool. So the idea of being in a hotel with family is like a place of transition, right? It's normally people don't live in a hotel. They're there temporarily. So it's like a temporary way station. The idea of also being sort of like a hotel, but also like a ship, is the idea of being in movement while you're in transition.
Oh, it makes it definitely sad. I don't even know why. But I'm happy to hear this. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that your family was all there together. So I feel like this is talking about a family anointing or a family like mantle. And it was interesting because you said your sisters had to go and change, but you changed automatically, which is the idea of changing clothes is the idea of wearing a new mantle. You're literally putting something on that people identify you with or identify you by, like a new gifting or a new level of calling or something like that. And it's interesting you mentioned it was like night clothes, which to me immediately thinks of course, dreaming. The idea that perhaps you carry a mantle that has to do with being a seer or a dreamer. And in particular, when you describe the outfit, how it was beautiful and it had like the boa and the cape and, the different pieces that it had, is the idea that it sounded very colorful. It sounded very beautiful. Multiple people, even in the dream, commented. It reminds me of Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors. So a lot of times when we see something in a dream that looks aesthetically appealing or that's very colorful, it represents the idea of the seer gift or the figurative or visual language of God. And so I believe one of the things that it's saying is that your family might have an anointing for this, but you in particular, you didn't have to go somewhere to change. It just changed automatically. It changed automatically. And then you wanted to go show your family and say, hey, check out what I'm wearing. Hey, Dad, look, it's me. And hey, my sisters are here. And hey, it's me. And then your husband, and then other random people were coming up and saying, hey, you look really beautiful. And you were like, thank you. But then what's really interesting is when you started to look in the mirror in the bathroom. Now the bathroom represents like the secret place, a place of cleansing, a place of self-reflection, which is what you were doing because you were looking in the mirror. And you're looking and you're like, well, this isn't my body. I'm not built like this. I'm built differently. And so some of the changes that you saw, I believe, were representing something that has to do with like the future that you're moving into. And they can represent like the whole idea of a pronounced belly button. I just hear naval observatory. I was a Navy guy. So the whole idea that, first of all, you're on something that's like a ship and you can see something that's pronounced, it's like a play on words, it's a pronounced naval, but a naval observatory would be something in particular that relates to ships and different things. Like I think the Naval Observatory is actually in Washington, D.C. And isn't that the quarters of the vice president, Neil?
Good question. I think it is. That sounds right.
Yeah. So I think that's really, really interesting. the idea of being flat chested could just simply mean transitioning out of a place where you were nurturing and you were discipling people and you were, mothering and feeding them, into a place where you're not doing that as much anymore. You're doing something that's a little bit, and again, the body, it's not like your body is going to change. It's just simply represents the function of what those parts would be. Again, the navel would be like the Naval Observatory. It's a play on words. And so I feel like what God is saying is that you're going to be a person that's going to travel and that you're going to go places, which represents the ship and also represents the idea of the Naval Observatory. But you're also a seer and a dreamer, somebody that God is going to use even more so in the gifting of the seer realm and the dreamer realm. Does that make sense?
Yes. Ow, my forehead. Which I didn't see my forehead. Wait, what did my husband represent?
I think your husband represents, he could literally be your husband. Represents a partner traveling with you, somebody that you're like, hey, how you doing? This is how I look. And then you want to go find him. And, just the idea of being with him together as, you're transitioning into this new mantle. What do you think? Do you got any thoughts?
Yeah, a couple. When you get on the ship with all your family and you're just really excited, it's almost like a kind of a vision of heaven. But all these people are recognizing how beautiful you are, and and you feel beautiful too, just by the way you're dressed. And you said the lingerie gown that you're wearing was kind of transparent. That kind of indicates that you are transparent. You're open. Doesn't mean that you walk around in this stuff. It just means that you are open and transparent with others, and you're willing to let people in. But I think all these people are recognizing you through the eyes of God. What they're seeing is you through God's eyes. And in God's eyes, you are absolutely beautiful. And the other people that are often closest to us are the last ones to recognize that. And your dad eventually does. He's like, oh, wait, that's not you. You're not my daughter. You're not 4 years old still. Oh, you're a woman. Oh, well, okay. You've grown up and you look beautiful. Thank you. You're going down the stairs. All of you are running down the stairs to get to the bottom of something. And that's what you're getting to the bottom. And you finally find a landing place somewhere down the ship. It's not all the way in the hold. So you're not in steerage class. You're somewhere up above that. And you find your room and you're just happy to be with your family. But you sit down and your husband's like, ignoring you. And in a lot of cases, I don't know how you get along with your husband. I assume you get along fairly well. But he doesn't recognize the calling that you have, or, at some point you get a little frustrated with that. And so you both end up zinging off in different directions. He goes one way, you go up. You take different paths to get to the same place, but eventually you're going to get to the same place. And the family that's walking alongside with you, I think is just, they're supporting you. They're there to support you. And your husband, you finally link up with them, but you end the dream and you're still upset, right?
Yes. That's real.
Sounded like a really nice car. So I think if your husband represents your husband, as John said, that there's something you two need to discuss. I think maybe you know what it is, but if you don't, pray about it. There might be something there, but he will eventually see you as through God's eyes and see how beautiful you really are. You said when you were looking in the mirror, you thought you had an athletic body, right?
The body looked athletic, but the flat chest, it just threw me off. My body's more of an hourglass.
Yeah, I think it represents more your calling, like John was saying. I think you're about to take an athletic, a calling that takes a lot of energy, and it's going to take your strength to go through it. And as an athlete, that's what an athlete has: a lot of strength, a lot of flexibility, a lot of, power, and that's what you have.
A season to run.
Say again?
A season to run.
Yeah, it's a season for you to run.
People are saying this girl is even beautiful when she's crying. All the ladies commenting.
Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. Currently, I actually live in the DMV area. This is Naval Observatory. I've never heard of that before, so I was going to Google it afterwards.
Yeah, check it out. See if it speaks to you.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your dream with us, Alexis.
Thanks, Alexis.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right.
I do want to ask about that snippet part right quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In one part, I was talking with a bunch of different kids, and they were super sweet, and I love them and everything. And I was trying to tell them how to do something, and this little boy looked at me, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And then something drops off, and I guess I thought it was on my head or something. And when I look down to see what it is, it's like spiky, and it's black, but then it has brown, and I realized it's like all of these, like so disgusting. And so it was all these like just bugs and just like centipedes or whatever, just crawling all over each other. And I was like, it fell off my head. And then on the top of my head, I was like, I felt and I looked. I don't know what I was looking at, but I could see myself, and I could see that I had like almost like a volcano welt. Like, you know, if you have like a mosquito bite or something, like that opening, you can see well, you can't usually see the opening with mosquito bites, whatever. But it's like almost like a volcano, and it was kind of like purplish, like it had been on my head. And like when it fell off, that it left the protrusion in the opening, but the opening looked like it was on the verge of closing. And I was just upset. I was like, it's okay, it's going to heal. It just really looks upsetting. The child's like, it's okay. I'm like, why are you saying it's okay to me? I'm the adult. I'm like, thank you though, I appreciate it. And so and I woke up, and I was just so disgusted. But yes, that was it. That's the snippet part.
That's really interesting. I think one of the things that God is dealing with you on is your self-image.
Oh my! I almost threw this phone. Okay. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things I'm going through, and y'all are talking to it, and I'm just trying to breathe through it. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, so the idea of being in the secret place and looking at your self-image and seeing, well, hey, I thought I was like this, but I'm like this. I'm being equipped differently in this new season. And then the whole idea of this insects and stuff falling out of your head is the idea of sabotaging thoughts or like a toxic mindset that you may have had towards yourself, and it just literally fell off you as you're serving others. Because when you're taking care of kids, it's about the kids, and you're serving them. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? And as you're serving others, this like tangled up mindset that is really, it's not you, it's the enemy trying to oppress you and try to make you feel not very valuable or not very beautiful or whatever, while you're serving others, and it's not focused on you at all. It literally just falls right off you. And you're like, ooh, that thing's ugly. That thing was on me. Yeah, it was part of the mindset. But now God's delivered you from it, and it's gone.
Yeah, I think the bugs represents things that are bugging you, things that are bothering you, and they're falling off. That volcano welt is something that's going to erupt, that's going to cure it all, and it's going to be okay. You know, out of the mouths of babes, the little child said, "It's okay." And you know why he said that? It's because it's going to be okay. Yeah. You know, that's God is speaking through children too, to you.